Chapter 7 from The Time Machine. I felt for my box of matches. It was gone. The Morlocks were smart, cunning at least. They had figured out that my matches meant danger. Again, they had stolen them from me. I still had my metal bar. I hit out with it in the dark. I felt it make contact. I heard cries of pain. But there were too many hands attacking me, too many teeth. Soon my arm began to tire. It seemed only a miracle could save me, and something close to a miracle did. There was a burst of light, and the attacking Morlocks melted away. For a moment I could not see. I was blinded by the glare. Then I saw that the light came from a nearby bush. The bush had burst into flame. A spark from my dying fire must have started it burning. The sun in this world of the future was much stronger. The bush was still very dry from the hot day before. Flames leaped up from it. A tree beside it began to burn. The Morlocks were caught in the wildfire. They were blinded by its light. In their terror, they ran into each other, into trees, even into the flames. A few died. The rest found their holes and escaped. I relaxed. The fire was burning itself out, but dawn was breaking. I was safe. Then I stopped thinking of myself. I remembered Weena. She was gone. The Morlocks must have taken her. But why? I knew why they had come after me. They saw me as an enemy. I had invaded their underground home. But why Weena? She would not hurt a fly. Weena must have known the answer. I remembered her fear of the dark, but it was not the dark she feared, it was the Morlocks. Then I remembered something else. The bones on the Morlocks' table. Where had they come from in a world without animals? And I knew the secret of the future. The horrifying secret. I had been right about one thing. The human race had been split into two races, the Eloi and the Morlocks. But I had been very wrong about everything else. Once perhaps the Eloi had been the masters. The Morlocks had been the slaves. But that time was over. The Eloi must have grown too soft and lazy to feed the Morlocks, and the Morlocks had found their own food, perhaps out of hunger, or perhaps out of hate. The Morlocks still made clothes and other things for the Eloi, but not like slaves working for masters. Instead, they were like farmers taking care of livestock. Livestock that they wanted healthy and tender. That was what the Eloi were. No more than cattle. Cattle kept alive for only one reason, so that in the dark the Morlocks could come for them, so that the Morlocks' dinner plates would always be full. I smiled sadly. Now I knew why the Eloi had no graveyards, why there were no old or sick among them. Once I had thought they had conquered death. What a cruel joke. Death, the most terrible kind of death, ruled over them. In the east I saw the dawn. I shivered. I could not stand to stay in this world any longer. I could not stand seeing the Eloi again, not now that I knew what they were and what would happen to them. Besides, now the Morlocks were after me too. They would not rest until they got their hands on me, their teeth into me. Sooner or later, I would let down my guard, and they would get what they wanted. I had to get out. I had to get my hands on the time machine. It was still locked in the base of the white sphinx. I weighed the metal bar in my hand. Perhaps it could break open the bronze door. I hoped so. I had no other tools, unless I found a use for a few matches still in my pocket. They must have slipped out of the box before it was stolen. The day was hot and bright by the time I reached the white sphinx. Its worn face seemed to smile down at me. Now I know why you're smiling, I said to it. I know your horrible joke. I know the answer to the riddle of the future. Then I lifted my bar to smash the bronze door. But before I could, I heard a sound. a whirring noise. The door slowly slid open. There was my time machine right inside the hollow base. It looked like it was in good shape. In fact, it was in much better shape than I expected. Dents had been smoothed out. Every inch was oiled and polished. The Morlocks took good care of machines. I let my bar drop. Quickly, I checked my pockets. I made sure I still had the 2 ivory levers, the levers that worked the time machine. Then I stepped inside the base. I had to reach the machine, even though I guessed what was going to happen, and it did. The door swiftly slid shut. I was trapped in the dark. The Morlocks must have been proud of their trap. I heard chuckling grunts as they closed in on me. I smelled their disgusting bodies. But they were not dealing with a childlike alloy. I had seen through their trick. I was prepared. Already I had a match in my hand. When it flared, the Morlocks would retreat. I would be able to put the levers back into the time machine. I would give a pull. And I would be out of this trap, out of this nightmare future world. I would be heading back to my own world, my own time. Smiling, I struck the match against the inside of the door. Nothing happened. I tried again. Still nothing. I had forgotten one detail, one deadly detail. The matches were the wrong kind. They lit only when struck against the side of their box. They were useless here, and the Morlock's hands were already grabbing at me